meeting is at the discretion of the Board of Selectmen. But I would hope to work with them and create a safe and as practical an environment to allow everyone to participate and to allow for a positive experience for all. And I'll take any questions that you folks might have. And aside from that, we're good to go.
Thank you, Rick. The only question I have is when, and this may be for the board, when would you anticipate any change in this plan? I mean, is June 15th set, or is there still a possibility of that changing?
I think we're pretty well
We're set with the 15th. I think our main concern is we want to get the budget done. We don't want to go into a 1/12 budget situation where every month we're trying to figure out what to do. So if we can get it done 15th, that's our hope, and tear it down as much as possible, then we'll be able to regroup over the summer and, you know, do what we need to do in the fall. Plus we'll get some information from the state, hopefully. Who knows when they'll pass their budget.
Right. The state's in total flux at this
We're
point.
trying to shy away from the 1/12 budget.
Okay, good. Then June 15th is a solid date. And just to follow up further on what Don has said, the intent for town meeting is to act on the budget, which is Article 2, a couple of other routine articles, and to defer everything else to the fall special town meeting. And hopefully by then there'll be more clarification, both at the town level and at the state level, in terms of the way the finances are shaking out. As everybody knows, this has been an extraordinary budget season. Never seen anything like it. It's taken extraordinary effort from several people in order to get this budget pulled together. I'd like to specifically thank and acknowledge Bob Markle, the town administrator, Kristen Gumlaw, the advisory clerk, Jane, the Board of Health, and Pam and at the Selectmen's office, who have gone above and beyond in order to coordinate and get this budget pulled together. In addition, all the department heads who fortunately were able to meet with us in person before the pandemic was full blown. But they have all put in a considerable amount of time reviewing their budgets as well. With that said, we'll start on the warrant itself. Article 1 is the town report. Vote to accept the town report. Any questions on that? No. Article 2 is the operating budget. And Bob, I believe you're going to put the budget up on the screen. Is that correct?
I can do that.
If you could put the budget up on the screen so that people can view it as they're watching, I think it'll
Okay,
streamline it. Okay.
I will do that.
Article 2 is the operating budget, and this goes to what Don referenced in terms of avoiding the 1/12 budget. If we not able to pass a budget due to whatever, then the state law requires that we go to a 1/12 budget, which creates all kinds of potential problems. So this budget reflects the general operating budget of the town, and we asked the departments to come in with a level service budget. The emphasis being on the service, and there are a few increases or decreases in the levels of service, and we'll note that as we go along. The increase in the spending budget itself is about 2.6%. That does not mean it's a 2.6% increase in the tax rate. It's a 2% increase in the spending. The rate itself will be set in the fall after the fall special town meeting, where we'll make further adjustments, including hopefully some applications to reduce the rate in free cash. But the spending increase is about 2.6%. The line 1, which is the accountant, and that is up on the screen for those who are watching through Zoom. You can see the total accountant request and recommendation is $60,240. If there's any questions, I would ask that people indicate that there are questions, and we'll try to address them in turn. Otherwise, we're going to move along because it is a fairly lengthy budget. Article 2 is the advisory committee. Total Advisory Committee, requested recommended $5,612. 3.0 Board of Appeals, requested recommended $5,712. Board of Assessors, requested and recommended $100,727. Building Department expenses, which is line 5.0. Total requested and recommended is $119,048. 6.0 County Retirement, demanded and recommended is $603,730. Insurance, this is all the insurances that the town carries, requested, recommended $444,800. Law and Claims, 8.0, requested, recommended $65,000. 9.0 Moderator, otherwise known as the Bob Howard line, $100. Planning Board, 10.0, requested, recommended $27,450. 11.0 Board of Registrars, requested, recommended $16,400. 12.0 Selectmen, requested and recommended $145,850. Yes, Don?
We agreed at the last selectmen's meeting to lower the 12.4 by $5,000, $15,000.
The expenses, Don?
Right. All right, good. Did you get that?
So line 12.4 will be $15,000 requested.
Okay, anything else on that? No. Thank you. Tax collector, 13.
Can't go to the dentist yet anyway, Don.
The tax collector, 13.0, requested, recommended $72,421. 14.0 town clerk, requested, recommended $72,776. Town report, 15.0, requested and recommended $3,000. Treasurer, 16.0, requested and recommended $73,895. 17.0 veterans benefits, requested and recommended $20,000. Do you expect any further demand on that account, given what's going on?
Budget's already been voted. I serve as chair.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so that budget number was already voted as the operational portion of the budget.
Okay. Do you expect a little more activity on that account with what's happening?
I wouldn't think so, because the position is set for X amount of hours. So the demands these are typically, for lack of a better way to say it, this is the operational part, the clerical part of the budget. So even if there's more demand on the veteran service officer, it's not going to result in a greater demand on the operational part, only on the benefit side.
Right. So a benefit increase is not reflected.
It's not reflected here.
Okay. Good. Thank you. 19.0 town administrator, requested, recommended $100,000. That gives a subtotal for general government of $1,936,761. Moving on, Academy Hall Maintenance 20.0, requested, recommended $4,500. Has there been any further discussion about work on Academy Hall? I know there's concerns about some water damage and.
Not so much water damage. I mean, we have a concern about the paint. Obviously, it was all on our plans to address it this spring. But with what's happening here and our goal to keep a lean budget, even though the Historical Society was willing to partner with the town in getting that project done, I think it's just something this board is going to bring forward next year. Maybe action in the fall for work in the spring, but not something for this town meeting.
Cemetery Commission 21.0 requested $39,049. At our meeting a couple of weeks ago, we did raise the possibility of requesting cemetery to defer a couple of their requests. Specifically, there was $5,500 to address runoff from Prospect Hill, and $4,000 to do a survey, and some gravel or paving for a turnaround at Old Cemetery. I spoke to Cindy Connors, who's on cemetery, and she's aware of what's going on with the town and the budget. And she said if it would help with regards to this budget, that cemetery would be willing to defer those items. So when we vote our recommendations following this public hearing, we have to make a determination of whether or not to include this additional $9,500 or to take it out. So anyway, that's in play, some consideration. So the total requested is $39,049. We've not yet recommended a figure on that. 22.0 Conservation Commission requested, recommended $34,756. Transfer Station 23.0, 25,000 requested, recommended, and that's only for the monitoring and the testing of the groundwater up there. 24.0 School Building Repairs requested, recommended $15,000. 26.0 Library requested, recommended $147,605. 27.0 Town Events, $1,200. 29.0 Office Equipment requested and recommended $82,000. Parks and Recreation 30.0 requested and recommended is $62,753. Townhouse Maintenance 32.0 requested and recommended is $89,000. Ambulance requested $330,000. Although didn't I see 333?
It should be 333,000.
That's a 3,000.
And I think it's important to note that this will provide the town with 24/7, 365 service of an advanced life support ambulance in town, and stationed in town. The contract requires that they, from the time that the call comes in to the time they reach the destination, is 8 minutes. The destination where they're going in town. If it exceeds 10 minutes, if it's not weather related, there can be review of that. If we find that it's just not doing the job, the fire chief or the police chief could fine him $500. It provides for an ambulance oversight committee. We'll get monthly reports on how many transports or calls and all that type of thing. They'll pay for training of our town EMSs, EMS training for our people who are currently trained in EMT. They'll pay for the EMT training and also for the recertification for EMS or EMT. And if our town, if the fire department uses equipment or supplies on calls, they'll the ambulance contractor will reissue the equipment to them, no charge to the town. And also it has a hardship abatement clause in there, so if the town resident can't afford to pay the ambulance bill, they can file a form and get some type of abatement. And finally, if they reach a certain level of income, money will be rebated to the town.
Is this anticipated July 1st start?
July 1st start. They're pretty much ready to go. They've agreed to everything we wanted to sign. Contract, we'll sign it probably next week and we'll be ready to go July 1st.
Is there coverage when the ambulance is out of town?
Yes, if the ambulance is out of town, they send a backup ambulance.
Is that contract signed yet? Has that been finalized?
We haven't signed it yet. The attorney just got it back today. They sent it to us today. We agreed to everything.
So it's just the final.
And I'm assuming that that's contingent on the vote at town meeting.
Anything further on that? Anybody online have any questions about the ambulance? That's one of the few items that generated a little tension. Nothing? Okay. Moving along, 35.0 gasoline, $60,000 requested and recommended. 36.0 street lighting, requested, recommended $23,000. John, wasn't there some issue about putting in some new lights that were going to be more energy efficient? And
So we did take advantage of the LED upgrade program for the streetlights, which per National Grid should reduce our bill. I've asked the police chief for a list of intersections that currently don't have streetlights. And when we verify that the bill is dropped, we're going to ask them to install lighting at those intersections. Typically down the Baldwin track, some of those are deficient, missing now.
So we have the.
So we'll actually have more illumination for the same price.
Anything further on that? 37.0 Council on Aging, requested, recommended $156,790. Senior Center, 38.0, $37,335. Historical Commission, 39.0, $400 requested and recommended. That gives a total general town service subtotal of $1,108,387. And that brings us to the Highway Department. Superintendent's salary, 40.0, requested, recommended $87,221. I'm hesitating here because there's some subtitles with subsections within here. Departmental payroll, which is the DPW workers, requested, recommended $271,195. Tree warden, 41.0. This shows a requested figure of $146,150 and a recommended number of $46,150. This reflects the decision that was made between the advisory and the Board of Selectmen, and also I believe the tree warden. Wasn't Dan involved in this discussion? To defer some of the tree cutting associated with the gypsy moth die-off. We've done a lot of trees already, but there's still a lot to be done. This maintains the regular tree warden budget, which will take care of the ordinary tree issues, but does not address the issue of the surge of dead trees that came with the gypsy moth. That will have to be addressed in the fall. I also understand that there had been some discussion of state money for that, but that's not going to come through. No.
Well, with the state, obviously, the state having other issues to deal with, this, any earmark for this would be low on their priority list. It is the position of this board, though, to come back in the fall with a request for $100,000 to complete $40,000 would give ability to continue the work, through the beginning of the fall with the high-risk trees.
Right.
I commend the tree warden who has really identified the roads that have a single egress, got rid of the dangerous trees there, working down the list, and many of you know him, he is tight with $1, and we didn't spend a buck more than we had to.
He knows where every tree is.
And he knows where every tree is. Anybody who has a couple of days to talk about it, he will describe those trees. I think he has a DVD with pictures of the trees. Right.
So this figure, although it's a reduced figure, the issue remains outstanding. Right? We're going to have to deal with it down the line. 42.0 public grounds, requested recommended $4,385. 43.0 highway maintenance, requested $315,672, and the recommended is $215,672,000. That's a $100,000 reduction in the paving request. Again, this has been ongoing discussions between the board and the highway department. I think it's fair to say that everybody agrees that the need for paving and maintenance of the roadways continues and will continue. We have recently gone through a 5-year program of $400,000 a year, which was finished, I believe it was 2 years ago. Right? So the roads are in very good shape. This combined with the regular state aid, which should come through, will allow the highway department to continue doing some road work, but not as much as we originally hoped. This is another item which will have to be revisited not in the fall, but the next annual town meeting. 44.0 general highway expense. Requested recommended $15,645. Snow and ice removal, requested recommended $100,000.
Is that kind of stuff on there?
Yes.
I don't have a problem with the number. I'm just wondering if we can make note to talk about maybe splitting that out for next year, so we know like how much is spent on sand and salt, how much is spent maybe on any rentals of any other equipment that we need. I just think that might be a better handle on exactly how that gets spent.
I wonder if it would make sense to do that as part of the budget meeting with highway rather than putting it in the operating budget.
Yeah, I'm not saying do it
No,
now,
I
I'm just
so-
saying for next year.
Just so we understand the components of it. But in terms of the operating budget, because this does pay for the materials, it pays for the labor, it pays for
It just
equipment.
puts a little bit more accountability on it.
46.0 contract services, requested recommended $63,700. 47.0 other highway accounts, $18,000 requested recommended. Building expenses, 48.0 requested recommended $15,000. That brings the total recommended highway department budget to $836,968. Animal inspection, 50.0 requested recommended $5,245. 51.0 emergency management, requested recommended $8,000. 51.5 traffic control, requested $15,000. Before I say recommended, is this where the expense for the tree, the details associated with tree work were?
No.
They were not included in this line.
That was a separate thing under tree.
So this is for the ordinary detail work. So the recommended figure will be $15,000 on that as well. 52.0 dog officer, requested recommended $13,448. Fire Department, 53.0, requested $372,538. I think that's the number we're going to recommend. Do we have any other figures in this?
We looked at the training stipend and the call reimbursement the last time with the, and we thought we might change the training stipend when we left it in, but we agreed to reduce the call reimbursement to $50,000. That's
I'm just looking here.
53,000.
Yeah, I see it here. It's in at $65,000.
Right, we agreed to lower that to 50,000, and that was based on 2017. They 2018 they spent $41,000. 2019 it was down to 33,800, and this year they spent about 16,000. I think that's a function of the fact that we have full-time firefighters now, so you're getting during the day.
Not as many calls.
So we put 50,000. We thought that was still.
That still gives us cushion. Kristen, do you get that? So that will.
Now the stipend, we looked at that too, because they didn't spend much this year, but they have 5 new probationary candidates, and also the chief felt that if they're not trained properly, there's a liability there.
So that stays the same then.
Yeah, the number for the stipend actually reflects the total potential. You have many firefighters who go through the training, but they also say, I'm happy to train, but I'm making money. And they pretty much donate it back to the county. But this would be the number. If everyone took his money, we need every
So
dollar.
this meets the obligation, whether or not people take the money or not, is a separate issue. So we may have some free cash to flow out of that account.
So can I ask about, so do we have 5 additional call firefighters?
No, probation.
Right, so does that mean, I guess I'm wondering now back to the reimbursement, if we have more people that might need to be reimbursed, did you take that into account?
Yes.
The total number? And if they don't, if for some reason they hit that maximum, where do we get the additional?
Well, they felt that they have money in the budget there that they don't normally spend, that they can transfer at the end of the year. Like, you know, so we probably all agree it was a good number.
All right, so chief was okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so if my math is correct, that'll bring the fire department recommended number down to $367,538. Making sure everybody's listening.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah. Good, thank you. 54.0, forest fire control, $1,800. 56.0, Board of Health, requested recommended $52,311. 56.5, Water District, $10,000 requested and recommended. Police Department, 57,000, excuse me, 57.0. Requested $1,647,888. And before I indicate what's recommended here, it's the, okay, the cruiser's been deferred.
The position of this board that we would defer the cruiser and look at it again in the fall.
So the need for the cruiser it's continuous, but it will be deferred. Hopefully get a little more time on it.
They're driving slower right now.
So that brings the recommended police line down to $1,603,888. 58.0, other police accounts, requested recommended $3,836. That brings total police to, I can do that math quickly. Yeah, or police, yes, I'm sorry. Total police is $1,607,724. Schools, 69.0, regional school district. Requested, recommended $7,582,438.
Do you know if there's been any discussion about the Department of Education on April 23rd recommended that regional school committees have their member towns vote the entire school budget rather than just the assessment? I don't think we talked about that at all.
I don't know if they've responded to that April memo because they felt the need to comply with the 45-day requirement of getting the assessment to the towns when our town meeting was still set for May. So they voted their budget at the end of March. So I don't know if they've taken that April guidance into account or not. There's a budget subcommittee meeting with the school tomorrow where I anticipate they're going to discuss the impact of the virus on finances of both the town and the district. But to the specifics of it, I don't know. I think there's so many moving parts. I mean, all moving parts that we have as a town, we have a budget of 15 million, they've got a budget of 50 million. So they've got that many more moving parts than we do. But then there's a budget subcommittee, it's a public meeting, 5:30, I believe it is. Carol and I were invited as members of the budget subcommittee, which we participate in starting in December. We meet every couple of weeks, develop that budget. So this number, which is referenced here as the assessment number, is a number that is essentially hammered out between the towns and the school district. It's a number which everybody agrees can be supported at town meeting. And that's the number which was voted by the school committee. Any further questions on the schools? There's going to be plenty of questions down the line, but in
I don't have a
terms of
question on
assessment
school,
numbers.
this is another. The next item is local government debt. And that's under the subheading of schools. Can we change that for next year and put in local debt as a subheading rather than, it looks as though the local government debt is part of the school? It's just the way it's formatted on
It's
this
just a
page.
format issue, that's all.
But if you look at the next page, it carries over the remainder of the debt.
Right, but some of that debt is not just the school debt. It's
No, it's all the town debt.
That's my point. But my point is that if you
Oh,
follow how we format the budget,
I see, yes.
it looks like local government debt is part of the school's
Right.
subset
So
of
we
the
should
budget.
put another heading in between 69 and 70.
It's the procedural.
Gotcha. Actually, we could probably do that. I'll do that now, can we, Kristen? How quickly would you respond to citizen requests? The total debt for the town, 70.0, and it includes the bond for Green Meadows. It includes the bond for the high school, for the police station building, and it includes interest on two short-term, well, I guess it's one short-term bond that the treasurer took out for the new radio system and the other item? And the dump truck, yes, thank you. So listed in the short-term debt is an interest payment of $8,765. That will allow that bond to be serviced with the intent of addressing the bond in the fall and applying some money to that to reduce that indebtedness. So that brings the total debt currently to $922,657. And I don't know if anybody has done a running total in terms of the total total has turned into. Do you have Kristen, do you have what the new total would be? All right, well, it'll be something less than 14,473,277 because we've got a couple of reductions along the way. Reductions are always welcome, so that's fine. This will be finalized. Advisory actually has a meeting following this public hearing for us to review and vote our recommendations with the intent of then putting this into the green sheets, which will be inserted into the Times and available, is it Thursday before town meeting?
A week from Thursday.
Week from Thursday. So it'll go into the following week's edition of the Times and be available for town meeting.
Doug,
Yes.
one quick point is that historically, we've tried to keep the debt load in the 6 to 8%, and the quick calculation shows we're at just over 6%, which if you read the MMA guidelines, that's excellent. Plus the fact we keep a stabilization number higher than the recommendation as well. So as I think Cliff, Dick, the financial team have said, the town is in very good shape financially to honor its debts and going forward.
Right, stabilization now has what, just over $1 million?
Still $1 million, even though we took out last year.
Right, so stabilization is in good shape. The reserve account, I don't know that we've spent anything out of.
We'll come up with something, right?
Yeah. So I mean, as we finish up the year, we're in good shape. Obviously, we're going to have to be very cautious going forward because there's a lot of unknowns. We anticipate there will be reductions in state funding to both the town and the school district. Exactly how that's going to impact us remains to be seen.
We did get the latest recap from Cliff, and I think you got a copy as well, looking at the different expenditures. We found that chance to look it over, but I don't think we saw many that were overspent that couldn't be handled with a small either line-to-line transfer or reallocation to a different line item that maybe they were coded incorrectly and should have been in this account. But I think generally speaking, every department has done a good job of living within their means, their voted means to it. And I think we've seen that there's a good chance that a decent return for free cash in the fall could be expected.
All right, so as we finish up the year,
We're strong.
the books look good.
Books are balanced.
Good. Any further questions or comments on the operating budget Article 2?
My quick calculations shows that it's now 2.4%.
So the spending increase would be 2.4%. If it gets approved for those changes. And again, that's an increase on the spending side of the equation. That's not a tax increase. There will be a tax increase, but it will not necessarily be 2.4%. The goal all along has been to keep the increase at 2.5% or less. Obviously, the lower the better. And so it looks like we're going to be able to hit that target. Moving on with the warrant itself, we have Article 3, prior year bills. And I understand that we have none. Article 4, fiscal year 2021 spending limits for revolving funds. This is the regular authorizations of the various revolving accounts, which we do each year. Article 5, the enterprise fund transfer station. Donna, before you had come in, we had a brief discussion about the transfer station. And we're wondering what the additional money would be associated with that. Do we have to raise and appropriate anything to this?
We don't, Mike, we raise the bag fee and the dump fee, and we have expended revenue from the enterprise fund that we have. So there'll be no increase.
So the transfer station is self-funding. So Article 5 is an authorization, article, not an expenditure. Article 6, community preservation. There has been no activity with community preservation because of the difficulties of getting people together. The intent is to pull together, there's one outstanding CPA request, and the intent is to pull that together for the special town meeting in the fall and act on it then. Article 7, Conservation Fund. Again, this is another standard article which we carry in order to maintain eligibility for various grants. The request is to raise and appropriate $1,000 into that account. Article 8, Highway State Aid. Again, this is a standard article that the town votes to accept the money that the state makes available for highways. Article 9, Library State Aid. It's another vote to accept money to aid the library. Article 10 and Article 11 are assessors articles having to do with the assessor stabilization funds. And there's been a conversation with Norm Churess regarding the possibility of eliminating their fund and just putting it into the regular operating budget. He was going to bring it up with the assessors. I didn't hear back from him, so I don't know if they've made a decision on that or not. That actually was at the request of the accountant and the treasurer, because they have to go through a lot of accounting in order to accomplish what is now a relatively small transfer.
You said those 9-year, audits that are required, 5-year audit, and now it's almost annually, so.
And if I remember, I think the figure was $30,000 or $35,000. So we were getting these big requests every few years, and so this was created in order to spread that out year to year. But now, as the budget has increased, that figure obviously has less of an impact than it used to. So I'm thinking that we're going to need to spread it as we used to. The need for it doesn't go away, just the way that we fund it. So anyway, we'll follow up with the assessors on that and see whether or not they can do that, and if so, then those will be no action articles as well. Article 12, School Resource Officer. This is the arrangement that both towns have set up with the school district for the police officer, which is stationed at the high school. The school pays the police officer, and then at the end of the year, the school district essentially gets reimbursed from the towns based on the actual expenditure for the police officer. And we were discussing this earlier, and the figure's around a little over 11,000. We don't have the exact number.
We've been trying to get a hard number on the reduction. We assume there's going to be a reduction because obviously he wasn't stationed at the high school for the entire year.
Sure.
They're a little backed up for doing work. If you appropriate the 11, the bill will come in less.
So it should be
Not to be
something
not to
less,
exceed 11.
something less than 11,000. Okay. Article 13, Reserve Fund. This is a fund which is at the discretion of the advisory committee for unanticipated, unexpected expenses. We have traditionally funded this at $25,000. We, as an advisory group, decided to reduce that to $5,000 with the understanding that we'll revisit it in the fall. And by then, obviously, there'll be a little more clarification. The intent of restoring the 25 and the 5 will get us through to the special town meeting. I mean, historically, we typically don't dip into a reserve fund until after New Year's. It is for unanticipated, unexpected. Most budgeting is pretty tight, so we haven't had an issue with it. But 5,000 in Article 13. Article 14, General Stabilization Fund. And Article 15, reducing the tax rate. I assume will both be no action articles because those are actions which are taken at the special town meeting after free cash has been certified. So that is the extent of the warrant. Any comments, questions, suggestions? Do you have anything here or online?
I'd like to thank the advisory committee for their work basically in this difficult time, just like we did with remote meetings. Same thing. here you are, 90% of your work is done at this time of the year, and you still didn't shirk from it, and here you are. Thank you. And you too, Alan.
Hey, Alan, wake up.
Hey,
No talent to hear it, but he's smiling.
smile, there you go. Thank you.
Well, that concludes the public hearing of the advisory committee. We have to reconvene and conclude our work on the budget, but I thank everybody for their efforts. It has been taxing.
Okay, we are sending the town report out for print. Shall we hold, Kristen, do you think you'd have these changes in there under for, and our changes in the requested? Or do you want to go with what you printed right here? I mean, I'd like to make the change here, see the change Paul requested for the heading thing, and that seems pretty.
If you have not sent it out, Kristen, you can make those changes.
Okay, so we'll help Anna wait for that for tomorrow.
You know, if she can wait for, you know, the time, and let's get it out and try to get it right. Good.
Because we have to basically go to print tomorrow, so it needs to be done tomorrow anyway.
We have to get it to the printer, we have to get it back, get it to the Times, you know, there's some running around involved with it. And Kristen has done yeoman's work in terms of getting these straightened out for us. As she juggles homeschooling her two children. Again,
There's a red thing on the chat. Did we have anybody who had a question?
Bob, are there any questions on the check box?
There were several. I'll put it back up. One was questioning the increase in the Conservation Commission clerical expense. And the other, why the huge increase in dog damage fund.
Well, I'm not sure I can answer the dog damage fund, but I can address the conservation. Conservation came in and met with us and indicated that they have an increasingly complex amount of work that has come before them. In order to meet the demand, they've had to increase the hours. So the option was either to not get the work done and maintain budget, or to increase the budget to get the work done. So the request has been recommended because that's what it takes to run that department.
That was for the previous.
Right.
Well, this year was the first year under that new number. We're just repeating that number next year. So the increase came from 19 to 20, not 20 to 21.
Right. I'm assuming that the request of the increase, whether it was this year, last year, I mean, there was a jump in that account, and it was because there's just a lot more activity. We've heard from all the departments. They all have more activity. It's all more complex. It all takes more time. And as a result, it all takes
My
more
point is
money.
that this budget number doesn't reflect that increase.
Now, this budget, if you take the ambulance out of it, this budget is very, very modest increase.
Doug?
Yes, Bob.
The Conservation Commission is still searching for a conservation agent. I advertised for that on the MMA website. There are 2 applicants. The time for submitting applications expired on May 20th, and they will be conducting an interview, or actually 2 interviews, to see if any of these candidates can do the work that they require.
Good. Thank you.
The dog damage fund, Doug, that first line is extended. They really can't see it as an increase. It's typically funded at that level based on, you know, what might happen. And there have been some years when it's approached that. It so happens that 2019 was a good year for it.
So it's the same thing. It was a couple of years ago that it went from $60 to $700.
Well, that was expended. That's the expended line, 60, but I mean, I think it was funded at a much higher number, just didn't spend it.
Okay.
But the board is requesting the $700.
We're keeping the same request. Same funding, the same as last year.
And the reason, you know, speaking personally, the reason that I don't object to something like this, which is a seemingly higher figure, is that whatever it isn't expended, this flows over into free cash and becomes available in other ways in the town. So it's not that it goes to waste, it just goes to other use. So
The other thing is that municipal finance is different. This is your one chance to fund that line. You can't come back easily during the middle of the year and say, oh my gosh, we should have had an extra 1,000 in there. So you really are forced to plan your worst case, if you will. A case in point is transfer station testing. That is the worst case of DEP came in and said, you need to do these 27 tests. That's how much it would cost. Fortunately, they don't, and we're able to return some of the money back to free cash to fund something else. But it's February when this board, working with your board, gets the one bite at the apple.
I think the other thing, Doug, just for what it's worth, from a historical perspective, I believe if you look at that number, that's actually one of the state mandated lines that you have to carry. So it's not even like you could zero it out. The state, that's a very old line, it goes back decades.
probably, that was probably created around the same time as Defense Watchers.
Just about. So funding it makes sense because it's mandated to carry.
You mentioned we're looking for two, please.
Any further questions, Bob?
Just a couple of comments. Pam pointed out that the so-called dog damage fund actually pays for disposal of deer who are injured or killed on the roads. And Cliff has pointed out that only a small portion of the fiscal 20 appropriation for a conservation agent has been spent, for lack of a clerk.
Right. Thank you, Cliff. Any further comments, questions?
That's it. That's it.
Good. Everybody here set? Okay, good. Thank you. Then at that point, we will adjourn.
Remember the good old days when I used to come to the meetings.
But I totally forgot about that. We were allowed to vote for observation. But here's the thing. Hey, Doug?
Yes.
We have a request from Eddie to add a revolving fund for ambulance.